Are you tired of being the extra in your own life? Do you want to command every room you walk into and have everyone hanging on your every word? Well, I have bad news for you. You aren't the main character. In fact, to everyone else in that room, you are effectively an invisible guest. And that is your greatest competitive advantage. In social systems, we suffer from a cognitive bug known as the spotlight effect. We over-index on our own presence, assuming others are auditing our performance with the same intensity we use to monitor our own internal state. It's a classic case of egocentric bias. We are the center of our own data stream, so we assume we're the center of everyone else's. Spoilers, you're not even on their dashboard. Consider the 2025 data on the T-shirt experiment. Students wore embarrassing clothing and predicted 50% of peers would notice. The actual detection rate? Only 23%. That 27% delta is where your social anxiety lives. It's a hallucination, a technical debt of the human ego that we pay for in cortisol and missed opportunities. Why does this happen? It's the imaginary audience phenomenon. We carry a legacy firmware from adolescence that convinces us we are being live-streamed to a critical public 24/7. But let's run a structural audit on this belief. If you are the star of your show, what is everyone else doing? They are the stars of their own shows. This is the invisible guest theory. In any social node, the participants are too busy managing their own LTV, their own perceived value, to accurately calculate yours. They aren't replaying your awkward joke from the 2 p.m. meeting. They are replaying their own awkward joke from the 10 a.m. meeting. Your blunder is buried under their own noise floor. This isn't a new bug in the human OS. In 1751, Samuel Johnson noted that no man is much regarded by the rest of the world. We are all preoccupied with our own internal affairs. Think about it. How much time did you spend today thinking about your coworker's slightly wrinkled shirt? Exactly. Now, how much time did they spend thinking about yours? David Foster Wallace summarized the logic perfectly. You'll worry less about what people think of you when you realize how seldom they do. It's a matter of resource allocation. Let's look at the failure points. If you believe the spotlight is on you, you become system-heavy. You overcalculate every move, increasing latency and reducing authenticity. This social latency is what people actually notice. Not the pimple on your chin, but the visible friction of you trying too hard to be perceived a certain way. So, salmon does have iron in it, but it's not a lot. There's better sources of iron. So, how do we optimize? We embrace invisibility, not as a lack of value, but as a lack of scrutiny. It is the ultimate sandbox mode for social interaction. If the spotlight is an illusion, then the stage is also an illusion. You are not performing. You are simply participating in a distributed network of self-absorbed nodes. When you spill your coffee, the invisible guest logic dictates that the observer's primary thought isn't "what a klutz," but rather, "I hope I don't spill my coffee next." Self-help gurus call this confidence. Engineers call it reducing system overhead. By removing the imaginary audience process, you free up CPU cycles for actual connection. This is the paradox. The less you care about the spotlight, the more authentic your signal becomes. And in a world of high noise, low signal actors, authenticity is the only thing that actually cuts through. You are the invisible guest half the time. This isn't an insult to your ego, it's a reprieve for your nervous system. You have permission to be average. You have permission to fail. In the grand scheme of things, being invisible is a superpower for peace of mind. It allows you to operate without the friction of external judgment, because that judgment doesn't actually exist. To implement this, perform a reality audit next time you feel self-conscious. Ask, am I currently thinking about anyone else's flaws? If the answer is no, assume the inverse is also true. The spotlight is off. The audience has left the building. They were never there to begin with. They were all backstage, looking in their own mirrors. Stop performing for a ghost audience. Show up as yourself, not because you're the star, but because you're the only one who's actually watching. System shutdown.